you gonna do?
All right, just a few weeks ago, Hurricane Ian devastated Florida, wiping out homes, businesses, leaving communities and lives in ruin. Residents of the Sunshine State are picking up the pieces and recovering what's left of their belongings. But many are dealing with a lack of flood insurance as Florida families struggle with the aftermath of Ian. So for more on this, let's bring in attorney and author Andrew Lieb with everything you need to know about filing an insurance claim. Andrew, thanks for joining us here on Fox Weather.
Ian, thanks so much for having me. I'm so sad for the people of Florida and Hurricane Ian.
It truly is an awful situation. The recovery just getting started, and for a lot of folks, the start of an insurance journey just getting started too. So break it down for us. You get a hurricane like Ian, hits like it did in Florida, your home, your property, maybe your business are damaged, and you don't know where to even start in terms of filing an insurance claim. What do you do first?
I would probably go to floodsmart.gov. That's the FEMA website, Federal Emergency Management. They show you about the National Flood Insurance Program and they tell you what to do. Step one is that. Step two is to see if you can mitigate and try and stop further damage, because you have a duty to stop bad things from getting worse.
We've heard so many unfortunate stories with flood insurance versus homeowners insurance. Oftentimes you've got companies kind of pointing the finger at each other. Flood insurance claims, they can be a little bit more tricky to file. Why exactly is that, and how does it work?
Well, so they're very difficult to file, and they're very aggravating once you get them even, because what you're going to find is that with flood insurance, if you're getting the government program from the NFIP, you're capped at $250,000. And you're going to find that many houses in the Fort Myer area that need this the most, that's not going to do much for them. So it's not only aggravating and a difficult process to prove and to show you should get it, but the reward itself isn't what you're going to expect at the end of the day either. It's a frustrating situation.
So what's the distinction there via flooding that comes from the top down from heavy rain, or the actual surge flooding coming from the ocean and wiping out a property or damaging it?
I think you're getting into the whole mixed cause situation, which is ripe for litigation, which is just what I do. And the question becomes, did the flood happen because your roof ripped off and that was a wind issue, not a flood issue? Or did it come from a surge, as you mentioned before, and that's a flood issue? And then the question becomes, did you have the appropriate insurance to deal with it? But what I would tell people is that's a legal question. What you need to do is make your claims as soon as possible. Document, take pictures of everything, and try again to mitigate as many things as you can. I know it's hard to say, but to try and stop damage from occurring. So if you don't fix that roof and that causes a flood 3 weeks later, that's not going to be covered.
Yeah, it's awful. You go through this trauma of a major hurricane moving through, and now you have to deal with the nitty-gritty of how the damage was caused and trying to make yourself whole again after, for a lot of folks, your lives, your livelihoods completely changed forever. So what about with FEMA stepping in to help? This is separate from homeowners insurance and the nationally sponsored flood insurance?
Well, FEMA operates the National Flood Insurance, so they go together on that. And FEMA does have additional benefits that they're trying to do. But let's walk back for a second, because I did tell you that the NFIP, that National Flood Insurance Program, that's operated by a subsidiary of FEMA, they're capped at $250. But you may have private flood insurance that goes beyond that. Don't think that one policy, one thing you're paying for is the end of the day. Keep searching and looking for more policies. Oftentimes we have endorsements and additions to policies, and we have to fight for all of our rights.
This is, again, just the beginning of all this, and we hope with red tape involved that folks that have been impacted by the storm can be made whole, or as close to whole as possible, as quickly as possible. So Andrew Lieb, thank you very much for the insight here on Fox Weather.
It's such a pleasure, and I just hope that people recover from this devastating storm.
Me too. Thank you very much. Katie?